Picture the smartest person you've ever met. Now imagine what they look like in your head. Probably calm, right? Composed. That kind of quiet confidence that makes everyone in the room slightly nervous. They walk in, they say something brilliant, and everyone just gets it. Here's the thing. That image? Almost completely fictional. Real high IQ psychology is messier, more chaotic, more human, and the habits that come with it, they're nothing like what movies told you. Because the people with the sharpest minds aren't sitting in leather chairs, stroking cats, and solving equations. They're forgetting where they put their keys, talking to themselves in parking lots, and lying awake at 2 a.m. running scenarios that will probably never happen. So if any of this sounds like you, welcome. You're about to feel very seen.
Habit number 1, sensory overload. You walk into a busy restaurant. Everyone else seems fine. You can hear 3 separate conversations, feel the air conditioning hitting your left arm at a slightly wrong angle, and notice the fluorescent light flickering in the corner that nobody else has clocked. And suddenly, you're exhausted before the food even arrives. This isn't weakness. Research suggests that highly intelligent people process sensory information at a deeper, more thorough level than average. Their brains aren't filtering out the noise. They're taking in all of it, every input, every layer. It's not sensitivity as a flaw, it's sensitivity as a feature, a very loud, very overwhelming feature. But here's the kicker. That same depth of processing, it's the exact same mechanism that makes these people so perceptive, so detail-oriented, so good at spotting what everyone else misses. The quiet environment isn't them being difficult, it's them protecting the hardware. Habit number 2, chronic self-doubt. You'd think that being smart would feel like knowing you're smart. Turns out the opposite is often true. There's a concept psychologists have documented called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and its lesser discussed flip side is this. The more you actually know about something, the more vividly aware you become of how much you don't know. Low performers tend to overestimate themselves. High performers tend to underestimate because their intelligence shows them the full map, including all the territory they haven't explored yet. So high IQ people often walk around with this low hum of, "I'm not sure I'm good enough," running in the background. Not because they're not good enough, but because they're aware enough to see the gaps. And honestly, that self-questioning drives them to keep going deeper, keep refining, keep thinking. It's not imposter syndrome, it's intellectual honesty, a painful, uncomfortable kind of intellectual honesty. Habit number 3, talking to themselves, out loud, in full sentences, sometimes mid-sentence in a grocery store before they clock the stranger giving them a look. Psychologists call this private speech, and it's not a sign that someone is unraveling. It's actually a really advanced cognitive tool. Language isn't just how these people communicate, it's how they think. They use words to organize complexity, to stress test ideas, to externalize the mental chatter so they can actually look at it. Studies show that verbalizing problems out loud can significantly improve reasoning and working memory performance. So the next time someone talks to themselves while solving something complicated, they're not losing it, they're debugging. Habit number 4, the night owl thing. Research by psychologist Satoshi Kanazawa found a consistent link between higher intelligence and a preference for late nights. High IQ individuals tend to stay up later and, when possible, sleep later, diverging from the conventional 9-to-5 rhythm most of society is built around. The theory is that this ability to override natural circadian rhythms reflects a kind of behavioral flexibility, an adaptation to novel environments. Historically, staying up through the dark hours wasn't exactly a survival default, and those who developed the capacity to do it might have been cognitively pushing into new territory. Today, it just looks like someone refusing to wake up before 9 a.m. Society reads it as laziness. Their biology reads it as normal. Habit number 5, forgetting the simplest things. Keys, names, why they walked into a room, the text they definitely meant to reply to 3 days ago. Here's something wild. The same brain that can hold an intricate, abstract system together in working memory can completely blank on where it left its water bottle. And there's actually a reason for that. Cognitive resources aren't infinite.
When a brain is constantly engaged in high-level pattern recognition, abstract reasoning, and complex problem solving, it's deprioritizing the routine, the obvious, the automatic. Basic memory tasks get sacrificed on the altar of big thinking. It's not forgetfulness, it's a trade-off, a slightly maddening, occasionally very embarrassing trade-off. Habit number 6, the anxiety spiral. Studies suggest that higher verbal intelligence is associated with increased levels of anxiety and rumination. And here's why that makes complete sense. A high IQ brain is an advanced predictive system. It's constantly running simulations. What could happen? What should happen? What will happen if this goes wrong, and what happens after that? It's not catastrophizing for fun, it's doing what it does best, anticipating complexity. The problem is that the same engine that helps them solve hard problems doesn't come with an off switch. So at midnight, instead of sleeping, it's running the simulation of a conversation that happened 4 years ago and deciding whether the response was optimal. Exhausting and completely involuntary.
Habit number 7, the vocabulary, including the words you probably can't say on television. A study from researchers at Marist College found that people with richer verbal fluency, the kind associated with higher intelligence, also tend to use profanity more, not less. The long-standing assumption that swearing signals a limited vocabulary flipped. For people who treat language as precision tools, taboo words aren't laziness, they're emphasis. They're a register of emotional intensity that clean language sometimes can't reach. Words matter to these people deeply, all of them.
So here's what all of this adds up to. High intelligence isn't a superpower in the movie sense. It's more like an overclocked engine in a standard issue car. Brilliant in some conditions, prone to overheating in others. The anxiety and the self-doubt and the sensory overwhelm, those aren't contradictions to the intelligence. They're part of the same system. And if any of these 7 habits felt uncomfortably familiar, that's not a flaw in you. That's just what it looks like when a brain is working very, very hard. If this hit home, like the video. And if you want to support these deep dives, hit that subscribe button. I would genuinely appreciate your this.